people in relationships, people like to say men and women a dime a dozen. It's plenty of
Which
fish in
they
the sea.
are. However, is that fish right there your fish? Right?
No, not at all. I might be looking for a killer whale, but
Yay.
all I keep coming across is guppies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
no, it's not that when it comes to relationships. Hey guys, welcome back to Don't Get Caught Slipping podcast. I am Tay Tay.
And I am Tam.
And today we are doing a part 2 from our last podcast that was titled Life After Breakup. So if you haven't watched that episode, we suggest that you go back, stop right here, go back to the previous podcast, listen to that one, and then come back to this one, and it'll all make sense, right?
Right.
So, Tam,
Yeah.
how are you?
I'm tired.
You tired?
Yeah, I'm a little tired today.
Yeah, I mean, at this age, I feel like I get up 3 times a night just to go to the bathroom. So
yeah.
I'm sleepy myself.
Yeah, I get a 1 or 2 in, but yeah, I wake up about 3:34, so around this time, it's time for me to go to bed.
So we're gonna breeze through this episode,
Yeah.
still give you the same energy, but we're gonna try to get it done so
Yes,
Tam
yes,
can get
yes.
in the bed. But today we are doing we're doing our part 2, like I mentioned, from the rant that I ended the last one with, just about loving you. Self-love, no matter whether you are light or dark, big, small, tall or short, it's from within. Like, all of those things physically are either something you can fix or something you can't fix, honestly. Like, if you're short,
What can you do?
what
about
can
it?
you do? You can wear some heels or platforms, or do whatever you do. You can be like Prince and throw on a heel if you want to. That's your prerogative.
Right.
But your personality and your within, you can definitely adjust, so you can consider how you love yourself and liking yourself, for that matter.
Yeah.
But you suggested the part 2 because you felt like we need to give the people.
Yeah, and
some
it
impact.
was great on what you were saying, and we were running out of time, and we all, and it's very, I feel like it's so popular, of the self-love, self-care. So everyone's talking about it. Everyone is conversing about some type of self-love or self-care and how important it is. And it's definitely important.
Absolutely.
But I'm big on definition. So self-love is an appreciation of one's own worth and virtue, encompassing self-compassion, acceptance, and support. It's a crucial aspect of well-being, impacting self-esteem, mental health, and relationships. Developing self-love involves self-awareness, prioritizing one's needs, and practicing kindness and forgiveness towards oneself. Right.
That's a whole thing.
Yes.
That I never even knew.
Right. So it's like, to me, that last sentence was so key. Practicing kindness and forgiveness towards oneself.
Absolutely.
That's like so big. We don't forgive ourselves so easily, and I think it's a self-conscious thing. We don't forgive ourselves, or whatever reason that is. We don't realize we don't, and we feel like, oh, it's all good, but you haven't probably forgave yourself for something. So practicing kindness and forgiveness towards oneself. Practicing kindness towards yourself. You would think you're kind to yourself, but I feel like sometimes you're not. And like I said before in our last podcast, I am my worst critic, right? I've battled with all kind of negativity within myself, with all kind of stuff. So it's like, I feel like we are kind people, you and I. We give people their due respect, but do we give it to ourselves? I think I do. But do you, people listening, are you kind to yourself, or are you really, really hard and critical? And that comes with, like you said, loving yourself no matter what. Tall, small, big,
Right.
skinny,
And like you, we're cut from the same cloth, but like you, in the workplace, especially, like if I made a mistake, I was hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I used to be.
Yeah.
And it didn't really help when you worked for a company that would also be hard on you for making a mistake.
Right.
So it was kind of like a twofold. I'm beating myself up within, and then I'm also receiving it in the workplace as well. So it's like you just Mike Tyson, you just getting punched in the face left and right and within. You giving yourself body shot.
Right.
It's just crazy.
And you said it, it's not only because you're talking about work. So we're not just talking about self-love when it's coming to relationships and all of that. It's so bigger than what we're saying, and
Right.
this is the topic, right? Your self-love travels with you.
Right.
It travels with you in the workplace, it travels with you in your home, it travels with you on vacation, it travels with you everywhere. So it's that whole kindness and forgiveness that you have to constantly give yourself, like you said, for making a mistake at work or for saying something that maybe you should not have said, or taking an action that had a tough consequence, and now you're very hard on yourself. That whole forgiveness and kindness to yourself is so key.
Right. And I think it's really hard for anyone who's, dead set on social media. Like people on social media will give you whatever they want you to see,
Right.
which is understandable. Like I don't have to show you my dirty space. I can just give you my clean space, and that's fine. But when you are making it out to seem perfect,
Yeah.
even though you may have, dirty clothes around the corner, like that's what's within.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
you're giving people a perception.
Yeah.
But then once the lights go out and you cut the cameras off, you're beating yourself up
Yeah.
for whatever the reason is. So my thing is don't do that. If you're going to be honest with yourself to say, I'm sad today, I'm not feeling it today, either one, don't get on camera or convey that.
Yeah.
And another part of that to me is also those that are on social media, because people are looking at you, young, old, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So if you're promoting this brightness of I'm this from within, but again you turn off the lights and it's something totally different, you falsifying documents as far as I'm concerned. Like it's like just be who you are, get your help, get your talk to people or however that may look for you. But I don't like it when you see certain people that are like, just say in the plus size community, oh, I'm plus size, I'm this, I'm that, I'm gonna go out and wear my bikini and my two-piece and the beach is gonna give what I got. That's my summer body, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I'm champion that. But then as soon as people get too crazy on your comments, you're sad. No, stay there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying that we're not human and you can't bounce between those emotions, but here.
Yeah, but you said it though. Words are very powerful.
It is. But if like I feel like between us, I'm the more sensitive one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in the comments. Forget y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell me when I'm supposed to say thank you to somebody, because I'm not going to be in the comments dealing with y'all and this foolishness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't know each other like that. Do I want to get to know people that are watching us that's not family? Absolutely. But as soon as a foolery happens, I'm tapping out. I don't have time for you to tap into something negative into me and I don't even know you.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You know you. I know me. And if I love me, I'm not going to allow you to water that down.
Yeah.
So stay true to what it is.
Yeah.
Don't give people a false when it's really something different. And that's kind of like my gripe on that, and why I kind of turned into that rant at the last podcast. It was like, no, love you. You, whatever it is, you can go and gain weight. You can lose weight. You can gain some more hair. You can cut your hair. You can do whatever it is that you can do outside of get taller or shorter for that matter. And that's who you are.
Yeah, but we it is beyond that as far as just appearance and wanting to be like and all this other stuff. And I stated earlier, it travels with you all over the place. And in the workspace, like for me personally, my confidence level or my self-love is so much higher in the workspace than it is in my personal life. And you come to think like, why is so, and how can that be possible? Well, if you have gotten therapy, you would know, right, where certain things stem from and why, right? In my earlier years in childhood, of course, we had a wonderful father figure in our life.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that wasn't the issue, right? And although, he took great care of us and etc., there were still other things that happened to us thereafter that had some impact, right? So those things of grabbing and trying to get not attention but some type of love in other places at that particular time after our mother had passed, I know that's certain shifts, right? So in my personal life, the need of certain things kind of dampened, right? When it was very strong at one point, it just started to, what do you call that, falter or tilt a bit or whatever, and it was traumatic, right? So you just really don't realize how certain things can trigger and lower your self-love in a relationship when certain things occur. However, when it came to the workspace, we just talked about that. I'm that boss. Bia, right? I am that. You can't take me off that totem pole. You can't take that confidence. I am the shiznik in my workspace. And regardless of what you say to me and how you may put any type of spin on it or try to make me feel less than in the workspace, you can't do that.
Right.
Because I know I have a certain level of skill in this space, and I'm going to find you. It's just that type of skill, right? I have a certain level of skill, and I got it.
Right.
I'm top tier with my ish, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Right.
So it's, people can have that in a relationship, but then when they get into the workspace, their confidence level is just like a little bit low. And like you said, people are stressing you out, and you allow people to make, you lose sleep. And I think in my younger years, because I was green, I just wanted to kind of learn and cultivate my skill at that time to where I did let certain things have a huge impact. I lost a lot of sleep with a lot of things, just waking up like, did I do?
Right. And it's different for people, like, to make it the point of what you're saying, you have a huge responsibility of people getting paid. You don't want people not to get paid. You're a money numbers person. So if you do something wrong, it could be catastrophic. It could mess up somebody's weekend. So
it could.
You know what I mean?
It could. But it's just so many other things behind that, right? It's just it's bigger.
Right, but on the most simplest level,
yeah.
You have a huge responsibility, but when it comes to payroll, like, I dibble in payroll in my role now, but my whole thing during payroll weeks is let the folk get paid. Because I don't want nobody not to be able to pay their bill. They'd probably call Georgia Power like, listen, on the 15th, you can take this money.
Yeah.
And if that money ain't in there on the 15th, then I could just jack up everything for them. So that's just what I'm thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a totally different responsibility on that. So that's why I was thinking, like, yeah, you have to give yourself grace, but you also have to be in the mindset of, I know my shit and I am the shit because of what you do.
Yeah.
So if you weren't that, I'm sorry, if I had a payroll person that wavered on that, a payroll director on top of that, I'd be like, no, we can't have them in here. You know what I mean? So it's like certain levels. But to your point, like you were saying, we had this offline conversation of at work.
Yeah.
As the young folks like to say, you the boss bitch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But at home,
I'm a punk bitch.
and I love that statement. Okay, you heard it here first. We're going to put it on a t-shirt and sell it. That's going to be our merch.
Right.
And
it's just like, and then you get home and you're like, I'm tired.
Right. Like you're a pushover for your kids.
Yes.
Your husband talk to you crazy like you ain't worked all day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You just like, oh, just clean it up.
Right.
Just, shit all over the place.
Y'all both working 9 to 5. Both jobs are stressful. But he come talk about what's for dinner. Excuse me? What you mean? Did you bring something in here, mofo? But I think, for me, it's a little bit different. I'm thankful to being in a family that we didn't talk to each other in a down way.
Right.
For the most part. We got a few that, if you don't do right, they're going to jump on your back. But for the most part, just on the surface, we come from really good stock when nobody called you any kind of names and, treated you any kind of way. And I'm talking about the bloodline of us. Mm-hmm. So I'm thankful for that being in this space, which I believe was pivotal for me growing up because, being a plus size person for the majority of my life, I've always had friends, whether they were plus size or not, they were like, how do you have this confidence? Mm. And I'm not saying that to, pat myself on the back, but I'm saying that because I was always thinking to them, like, why don't you?
Right.
And it was weird to me to be in a space where I'm like, you're beautiful. What do you mean? Yeah. Like, you're the quote unquote, what society considers beautiful. Why don't you feel the way that I feel about myself? And I think your confidence, to your point, your confidence in how you feel about yourself does kind of weigh on how you proceed in life, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, how you do business, whatever the case may be, whether you speak up for yourself or whether you don't. It's all going to be a full circle on how you handle you and how you feel about yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah. And, I think the boss bitch and the punk bitch side is, it's the perspective of how you look at it, mm-hmm. right? The boss bitch is like, hey, I come with a certain mm-hmm. level of experience, quality, and if you don't support and like it, mm-hmm. there's 550 million other companies mm-hmm. that I bet mm-hmm. someone out of there will, mm-hmm. right? And it's just like, I can bounce. Mm-hmm. I can move on. I can grab my little purse and mm-hmm. all my little stuff and go on out here in these streets and get me another one. Mm-hmm. I think when it comes to the relationship part, for me, I am one to basically stick with what I'm in. If mm-hmm. I'm with you, I'm with you. And if I really sunk my teeth in you, it's very difficult for me to pull them out, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's probably took a minute to put them in. Mm-hmm. So it's not even that nature. It's like when I feel connected, I'm connected. Mm-hmm. And I am in it for the long haul. Mm-hmm. And certain things that I see or feel, it's like I personally feel like when it comes with a relationship, we're all human beings. Right? And we have to remember that. Mm-hmm. I fall short, and every time, and when or if I do, one thing that I always want someone to realize I'm not perfect. And I don't know if this was intentional or not intentional, or if even if it was, I want some forgiving grace behind this. Right? I mean, call me selfish or whatever. I do want forgiving grace. I mean, I might have made a mistake and I'm sorry.
Right.
And I want you to forgive me on this part. So if that's the way I'm looking at it, I have to be that person to do that as well.
Right.
And not to say there isn't boundaries behind it. However, that's the part that I'm saying, that I'm the punk bitch over here because I have more that I'm valuing in this piece. And I know this is a lot more different than it is on the work side, right? Work side is like, man, whatever.
Right.
You a dime a dozen.
Right. And that's so true. Like, people in relationships, people like to say men and women a dime a dozen. It's plenty of fish
they
in the sea.
are. However, is that fish right there your fish?
No,
right?
Not at all. I might be looking for a killer whale,
Yay.
but all I keep coming across is guppies. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
No, it's not that when it comes to relationships. So work to me is totally different than when it comes to personal romantic relationships.
Yeah.
It's like, golly.
Yeah.
People are like, what you looking for? Is he breathing? That's what I'm looking for. Is he dead? No, I don't want him. I want the man that's breathing.
Okay.
So it's like totally different when you talk about relationships, even friendships. I think about the amount of friends that I have personally versus I talk to other friends and they'll be like, yeah, my classmate, Susie Carmichael. And I'll be like, I don't remember nobody's first and last name from high school. But they do. They have all of these people that they've known from childhood all the way up through adulthood. And they can name first, last name, and their mama name, and their grandmama. And it's like, I don't have those kinds of friendships.
Yeah.
Because, and I hate to say this, but I value and I put more value into my family relationships than I do my friendships. And any friendship that I have, then I definitely hold dear. But anything outside of that.
Yeah.
So, okay, you mad at me? Well, see you later. If we talk, we talk. If we don't, we don't. But that may not be everybody's, that may not be everybody's story.
Yeah.
We have some people we know that their friends are more family than their families are.
Yeah.
So they put more stock into their friendships and they put more value there. So it's kind of like, what do you do in those cases? Well, of course you have to do what's best for you and what continually makes you happy. But friendships are, again, one of those things. Like, how do you even find good people to be friends with, even as an adult?
Yeah.
If you don't have good friends now.
That's true.
Most of the people that I've met was either through you or I met at work, and I didn't befriend them until after I left the job because I didn't want to have that relationship while I was there. So my circle of friends is very small, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can be more of a quality friend in that case. But I still kind of am envious of people who are like, I've been knowing them since I was in the 5th grade. And it's like, I have no clue where those people are. Don't know them at all. The two friends that I had in high school, one is still living and I don't even talk to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, what do you do? Yeah. So I value people, or excuse me, I envy people who can keep those relationships going for so long.
I agree. Yeah, that childhood friendship. Yeah, I agree.
And again, to circle back and kind of bring it all together, is that again that plays on who you are. I mean, I know you had, you were the queen of having friends in high school and middle school. Like, I looked up to you like, man, I'm gonna go to the dances with all my friends like that, and I'm gonna go to the, I'm gonna have all these friends, and I'm gonna be a part of this club and that club. And in the reality, I was thinking that's not my personality at all. Like I don't want to be in the forefront. Call me in the back. We can be friends back here. I don't want to be friends up there. Right. So, it's a testament to people like yourself who, you know, somebody looking at me can say, these two people walked into the party. Her self esteem is probably higher than mine, which I would beg to differ. But because you walk into a party and you're like, hey, I'm Tam. Hey, I'm Tam. Hey, I'm Tam. How you doing? I'm Tam. And I'm in the back like, what's up? I do a general hey to everybody unless someone comes and talks to me. But the perception could be, oh, she may not.
Yeah.
You know,
and I when we come into the room, I feel like most of the time it's like we come in, and if it's music playing when we walk in, it's like so it's like,
do you feel that way?
Yeah.
I don't.
Every time we walk into the room, I feel like people just turn around and it's like, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? I'm Tam. Hey, how you doing? I'm Tam. Because I just feel like it's all the eyes is like ping, and I don't want to be that. You know me, I'm giving you eye contact, so I see you. So I'm not going to just be walking and looking at you, just staring at you.
So you feel like it's a forced thing almost.
Yes and no. It's more like, let me introduce myself and let me break the ice here, because I feel tension.
Oh.
I feel tension when I come in most of the time.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I do.
Huh.
I do. And I'm big on energy. So I feel tension. So when I do that, maybe 50% of the tension has released.
Okay.
You still have some that's like, but half of it is gone down. So, that's and then so I can keep moving in the space, and I'm always going to be me anyway, but it simmered.
And maybe me. I don't realize it initially because I'm behind you most of the time. Like you usually step through the door first. And I'm big on your energy. Like I can tell, I'm like, somebody done said something. You know what I mean? Like I tune into you. And yes, I have noticed, us going somewhere, we may not know everybody, and you walk in because you're like, hey, I'm Tamara, hey, I'm Tam, hey, I'm Tam. There may be that one person that's like, who is she? You know what I mean?
So and it's not.
So I pick up on that.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that you heard the record scratch when you first walked in.
Most of the time I hear a record scratch.
Huh.
Every single time.
That's interesting.
For the most part, it scratches.
Is it because you said hello to the men who are sitting around first that you feel like?
No. It's before I even say hello, right? It's you come in and we come in.
No.
You know how when you come in, of course people are going to look and be like, who's coming in or whatever. Are they looking that way? And so when it comes in, you can just see the face. You can see the energy, and it's like,
well, listen, we gonna be honest.
Or some other people are like,
that's what I'm saying. We gonna be honest. Let's
and they sit next to their booze, and it's
back.
Like, oh,
let's
damn.
Go back. Because that's what I probably more in tune with anything. For those of you who don't know Tam, for those of you who are not watching, Tam is a baddie. Okay, she come in with the small waist, her shirt be tucked in, and the jeans be fitted. And when she walk in, she is a noticeable woman, period. I don't care who you are, if it's men, if it's women. So me, being the messy little sister, I'm watching the people watching you. So that's probably why I'm not picking up on what you're picking up in the first place. Because it's either a woman that's like, or a man that's like, ooh, okay, we see you light skinned. You know what I'm saying? So I'm watching that, and that might be.
And it's not even if you, I know you paying attention. I don't really introduce myself to the men first. It's to most of the women.
Yes, right. You do that.
You
do that.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Tam. And
And
Yeah.
if you do
Trying to,
greet the man, you will make sure that you also acknowledge the
yes, and I'm
woman.
doing the woman first. And then if he's there, then I'll be like, "How you
Hmm.
doing? Okay,
Hmm.
good to see,"
Yeah.
and keep on moving. But I'm giving the women my respect, my
Hmm.
boom, hey, I'm Tam,
Right.
just here to have a good time. I'm be over here,
And that ties
and then
into loving yourself too. For
yeah,
those women, it's like
yeah, and
just
then
because a pretty woman comes
at the
in,
end of the day, most of them are over there in the corner with me, like trying to
yeah,
get their two step with me. Hey,
right,
Tam, what's going on, girl?
right,
And I'd be like, come on.
hmm right. When they realize that you're not a
Yeah,
threat, and that's
yeah,
sad, but I mean, it is what it is, right? Like people see a beautiful person come in the room, and they're like, "Hold on, hold, hold, hold. What's this person?" And it could be
mm-hmm.
a woman or a man. So it's like you come in the room and you catch people's eye immediately. It's a chin check. It's like, well, am I gonna barbecue or mildew? What's
Yeah,
gonna happen
yeah.
with this situation? You know what I'm saying? So
And
I
we wasn't
totally
trying to
understand
get,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
It
it
was just
ties
more,
in.
yeah, yeah,
It ties
yeah.
into those people who are recognizing who you are. I think. Like I don't ever be. I'm never anywhere. All the house parties we have, when people come in, I'm not thinking of whether or not they finna come in and steal some attention or somebody like that. Just does not happen. But that's because I know who I am. Like I feel like
Exactly.
that's a bit of I hate to say it, but is it a self-esteem thing? Which
That's self love.
yeah, it comes with the self-love, the self-confidence, how
Mm-hmm.
you feel about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't care if you walk in here and you a baddie, because I'm gonna be like, girl,
You cute.
you cute.
Yes, and we do that all the time. I'll compliment a
Mhm.
woman immediately,
Mhm.
especially if she is fly or she's
Mhm.
just beautiful or
Yeah.
she has on a great outfit or
Mhm.
whatever it is, and it's like, man, I love your hair, or
Mhm.
man, you look gorgeous, and
Mhm.
or whatever this is,
Mhm.
digging them shoes. All
Mhm.
right, girl, come on through.
Like you welcome here. You
Yes.
will always be welcome until you not, and that's on you.
Hmm.
But I did not know that you felt that way. But now that it all makes sense. But it all circles back to self love.
Yeah.
But to I guess for the last bit of this to land the plane, it's how my question to people, and maybe we can stir up conversation in social media, is how do you now love yourself? Like, did you not love yourself before or like yourself? And what was your, ooh,
Mm-mm.
excuse me, what was
Yeah.
your turning point? What happened? Like, did you suddenly realize, like, you know what, I am the shit? And, was it a family drama or, who you had around you that made you feel a certain way or less than? Was it a
Hmm.
boyfriend or a girlfriend? Because that can happen too. Um, Teachers can do that. I mean, anybody in your life, I think, can possibly make or break how you view yourself and how you love yourself. And if you love yourself, whether or not you can pivot and not get caught slipping at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true. I'm just thinking about that whole self love because it does it come do you have to train yourself to really love yourself within? Is it naturally? Some people have to work on it because of, like you said, traumatic things may have happened to them in
Mhm.
their life. Teacher, could have been parents or
Mhm.
whatever, whomever,
Yeah.
and it's you gotta do the work
Right.
or go to therapy.
Right. Our young people, bullying is a thing now, and
Mm-hmm.
we as the Gen X, we're like back in the day, it wasn't no, but it's so
It's
different.
severe.
It's different now
Yeah.
because of social media and
Mm-hmm.
how things spread. We get into a fight back in the day, it just went as far as people said it,
Right.
but now it's all over the world because of the internet. So rightfully so,
Yeah.
things are different, but I challenge anyone, especially young people, if they're listening, like find that person that you can confide into and be strong with. And who gonna rock with you? Who
Mm-hmm.
gonna have your back? I'm not saying they gotta go up to the school and beat the kids up, but who's gonna really be like, listen,
Yeah.
forget these people. Forget what they talking about, and really like reassure you on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Remind you of who you are. Because I think we need that too.
Yeah, that you're right about having someone that can just be there to kind of, because we all fall, right? We all have those days or those time frames or periods to where, I will have to say, I don't think my self-esteem has been low, but I do recall there being a small period just recently, like all my life, I've never worried about what people think about me or my looks or whatever. And I felt like I look back and I'm like, oh, I was so quirky and my style was real so weird. But I thought I was the ish, right?
Right.
I have a son.
Right.
That's if you look at him, he's not on the norm of fresh or fly or whatever how you want to call it. But in his world, he is too legit to quit.
Baby, and
you
tell him
can't tell him nothing. And I think so too for him. However, he has his own style. And sometimes I look at him like he get that from his mama. Because I felt that way. And it was like, I look at myself and I'm like, people didn't wear what you wore. I was like fly, super duper fly. But I had my own little style. And I just was like, hey, I am the shoot. You don't know?
Your youngest two definitely got that from you.
You don't know.
This is my style. And I dare you to say something. You're going to have to shoot me.
Right. You can't tell me that I don't look good.
Right. But I love that. That's from the within. Like the same, my nephew, my second to youngest nephew. You can't help but to be like, you fly. Because he going to walk past you like what? What you say? Who you talking to? You know what I mean? Like he will ignore you if you even think you gonna say something. You think you talking to yourself. You feel stupid before he'll feel any kind of way.
Right.
And I love that because it's from within.
Yeah.
He don't care, and that's the attitude that you have to have.
Yeah.
You cannot care about what others think about you. Of course, it's natural. We're human. It's gonna be, I don't want somebody to feel away, or I don't want somebody to look at me this way. And circling back to relationships, everybody falls victim to, I want to make sure that my person thinks that I look good.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to cut my hair because my guy doesn't like short hair or whatever the case may be. And it's like, baby, they get over it. They will get over it. But if that's what you want to do, because you like you love you,
right,
you're going to cut your hair. And that's just going to be that.
Right.
And either they're going to rock with you or they're not.
Yeah. And, I used to always, and especially like when I get compliments about my kids or whatever, and I'll tell them, or they'll be like, hey, you know what? He's just the greatest, or he's so kind and whatever. You know what? I think so too. And they'll look at me like, huh? Like, yes. You know what? You're right. Because I think so too. He is the greatest.
You say that all the time.
He is the best.
But how would the world be if everybody had somebody in their corner that was like, yes, you're right. My child or my son or, my daughter, my nephew is the shit. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and it's not even like, I appreciate the compliment, but you know what? We know.
Yeah.
He the bomb, yes, .com and all of that.
Right.
But appreciate the compliment there,
And that second to youngest one will say, oh, I know.
Oh, yeah, he sure will.
He will say it, okay? You might think he is the quietest person in the world, and he is. However, say it.
Yeah.
And he gonna tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what I love about the boys and, how you raise them, because they have your mindset. I don't care what you think, man.
Yeah,
yeah. Even if you are a family, I don't care.
Yeah, and it's not to be insensitive, and some people be like, I know you don't care. And it's like, you ain't got to be like that, but I don't, but,
Wait a minute. You ain't got to be like that. I don't care, but. That was all the things that was.
But I mean, hey, it is what it is on that piece. But I was going to say that, I did have a small fragment of that, not feeling the best, right? And it was right after my divorce, and maybe and it was because it wasn't even right after. It was maybe about a year and a half later. And I really looked at myself and I was like, damn, how much do I weigh? Got on the scale and I was almost 250. And I was like, whoa, oh my God. I am 248. Lord, I have never been that weight. And not to say it's good or bad. I just personally never been that weight. So I've always been a little bit under the 200s, and I would always make jokes sometimes, be like, yeah, I'm about 2 biscuits away from 190, hey, or whatever. But then life started happening, and I really didn't look at myself, really. And that's the part that I think that was so sad for me, was like, I didn't pay no attention to me. And that's the part that I was like, I didn't pay no attention to me. And I'm not happy with this. Not to say that I feel like still don't look the same. Hey, I still got that, hey, I still look good now.
Absolutely.
I look fly. I look good. Okay. However, I'm 248. Oh my God. So I went through that whole transition of okay, I need to lose some weight here, just for me personally. And it took a long time. A long time, in my opinion, because I'm used to saying, okay, I'm losing weight, and it taking me about 6 months. 6 months, and I'm good. I'm back down to my little fight weight, and I'll keep it on punching. But it's been about 3 years.
Well, they say as we get older, it's harder to come off.
Child, it's been about 3 years, and I'm just now getting close to getting back underneath the 2 biscuits of 190, right? So I'm just now getting there, and it's like, took me 3 years just to get there, and I want to, of course, be a little bit more, lose a little bit more weight. However, child, it's been a long road for me battling losing weight, and that self-love. Man, I mean, I had to work hard on that one. Not to be like, hey, but it was some work.
Yeah, and that's a great point to kind of end us off on. You felt like you had to work to regain the self-love because you felt like you should have had the weight off a long time ago, or it was quicker back in the day, or whatever the case may be. So the self-love may have wavered. Is that fair?
Yeah, yes, that's fair. Yeah, that's very fair.
So immediately what I thought of when you said that is how people fight for their jobs, or they fight for something they want, or they fight for the relationship. Fight for your self-love.
Man, girl, yes,
fight for it, because it's so important. It's going to get you and become that thing that you can only rely on. And I mean, not become, but it is the only thing that you can rely on a lot of times outside of your faith, if that's what you believe in. And if that means, for me, my self-love and quote unquote self-care is I'm going to go to the movies by myself. I don't care if anybody want to go with me or not. I'm going to start taking those trips if anybody, and I have done that periodically. But I know my family's like, wait, where you going? By yourself? Who? What's happening? You know what I mean? But do whatever it is that's going to make you happy at the end of the day, because that's going to just continue to put the bricks up for who you love. And that is you. So if you fighting for somebody else, or you fighting to love somebody, and the jobs and all of that, put that same kind of energy in
Yeah,
yourself.
into yourself.
You have to.
You into yourself and have those self reflections.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You like, hey, I'm strong in this area with my self love,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm a little weak over here. So
Mhm.
let's see how I can move some of this
Mm-hmm.
and use that same energy and put it over here.
Yep.
Now, what do I need to do
Mm-hmm.
to get that?
Yes, absolutely. And if it comes to the point where you're like, oh, I'm overflowing over here. Well, let me take some bricks
Yeah.
off of this scale over
Yeah.
here and put it on
Yeah.
over here
Mm-hmm.
and see how I can build this area of me because I got to work on lock.
Yeah.
That's natural,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
I got that on lock. Let me build over here and really kind of tune into yourself. Be
Yeah.
honest with yourself. Tune in with yourself. The shameless plug of therapy, it works.
Yep.
It works when you find the right person. Because believe you me, I've had some people, like I had a person that I was like, wait, are you the therapist or me? You know what I mean? I had some person that made me feel like, is he finna put me in a sunken place? No.
Yeah.
With your teeth in your little circle with your spoon and stuff? No,
Right.
I don't know. I don't want to be in a sunken place, sir. I am out of
Right,
here.
like, "Dong."
You know what I right? A dog barking and all of a sudden I'm barking, you know? It's like, no. When you find your person,
Yeah.
you will go far because therapists have a way of just asking you a question. Like, so how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
Well, so what did you do then? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, why you keep asking me questions? And then all of a sudden, you answering your question. You're like, well, shoot, what you here for? Because I'm healing myself.
Yeah.
But they are doing the work with you because they're making you think. And it's an unbiased, I don't have no skin in the game, but help you get to where you want to be type of environment. So that's my shameless plug for therapy and building your self-love back. And you may have had it,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't had, a marriage that failed and you got umpteen kids and you lost your job or whatever. And now you in the corner, you got to fight your way back out. Well, keep fighting.
Yes, keep fighting. I
Put
love
them
that,
gloves
Tay.
on and keep fighting.
Mm-hmm.
An ex of mine said, as long as my heart is still beating, I'm going to keep swinging.
Yeah,
So keep swinging
Yep. for yourself.
for yourself. And then you can spread that love to everybody else.
I love it.
Absolutely. So, in part, if you are listening, please rate us. I think that's a thing, right? On Spotify, you can rate us and share what your thoughts are. If you're on social media, follow us on
Instagram, YouTube, TikTok.
Participate. Tell us
Yeah.
what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us you like us. If you don't like us, you keep it to yourself.
We also are on Facebook.
And we're on Facebook for the old heads, for the G's.
Yeah.
But anyway, in closing, I am Tay Tay,
And I am Tam.
and we'll see you later.
Peace.